If you're looking to start Amazon FBA in 2026, most beginners make the exact same mistakes, and I'm here to tell you them all in this video. I've been selling on Amazon for 6.5 years, and we're consistently doing 7 figures on a yearly basis. I'm inside my own warehouse right here, right now, and Amazon FBA allows me to also travel around the world and go where I want. You're gonna wanna note these mistakes down because most people never really make real money with this business because of these mistakes. So in this video, I'm gonna be breaking down 7 key mistakes which sellers make, and there may also be some bonus ones towards the end too. So if you actually want to make this work, buckle up and let's get into it. Mistake number 1 is thinking that it is quick. Amazon is not passive and it is also not quick. So let me break down the passive section and the quick section. When people say and think it's passive, they have to do everything to begin with, guys. Come on, you have to do the shipping, you have to do the sourcing, you may have to do some labeling. It depends what strategy you're doing. If you're doing private label like we do, you can actually send things into Amazon directly, but there's a boatload of things that you need to deal with, even just a small crappy admin task, because you can't just hire a VA straight away because you won't really be making any money. And also getting onto the quick section, as we all know, we have to wait to be paid from Amazon, right? It takes a couple of weeks. And also depending on the strategy you're doing, which is what we do is private label, it takes a little bit longer than some of the other strategies to buy the stock and for the stock to arrive. So there is a waiting game there in a sense. However, of course, the margin is significantly higher and there's so much more advantages which outweigh that disadvantage, such as, like I said, the margin. You can actually sell your business for 6 to 7 figures when it starts making money. So that's mistake number 1. Number 2 might be quite a controversial one, and it's that you don't need a lot of money. Sure, the minimum capital that I would recommend anybody start with by themselves, okay, is £5,000. So if you're looking to do it by yourself, that's 5 grand. However, anyone who is determined and super motivated, you should never ever let the size of your budget determine your decisions. Because at the end of the day, if I was getting coached by an 8 or 9 figure seller or something like this, I would find the money to pay them. And better yet, if I was getting coached for free by them, but I didn't have the money for inventory, you best bet I'll be partnering with someone that has the money, or simply be asking for some sort of loan to actually help me out. Success is actually determined by your decisions and your resourcefulness. The most successful people and the people making the most money, which I know, are the most resourceful people. And not only that, quick action takers. A lot of people just procrastinate, sit around for fucking ages, and end up getting 0 things done. Number 3 mistake is that you start off with things which are gated. Now, this is extremely common when you're doing arbitrage and a little bit of wholesale, a little bit of A2A and stuff as well. You as a new seller can't go ahead and sell big name brands. You can sell brands, but some big name brands is pretty much gated. And what you have to do is provide Amazon an invoice for a bunch of stock which you have purchased, right? So you may have to purchase a large amount of inventory just to show Amazon the invoice for that so you can get ungated. This is very stressful for new sellers and they run into it a lot. However, you don't get this when you do private label. How can you be gated for something in which you own? Private label, you literally own the brand, you own the product, so you don't really get gated or anything when you're doing it. So you will be automatically approved to sell, obviously. Mistake number 4 is looking for a product which is going to be perfect straight away. This is one of the biggest reasons why people get stuck, because they're perfectionists and they just start over analyzing data. A recent student of mine, which I just taken on, he loves perfection, right? He's very smart, he's very hardworking, but he does struggle to take the action because he's extremely data driven. Sure, you should be making decisions based off data. However, if you're over analyzing things and always looking for something which is perfect, which ticks every single box, then it's never ever going to work. One of my current students who I was just speaking about, one of the main reasons why he came on board with me was so I could kick him in the ass and literally get him to source and buy a specific product. So I could also validate it and just make sure he follows through with the things that he found, because at the end of the day, if you don't follow through with the opportunities you find, somebody else will, because you're not the only one finding those product opportunities. Not only that, it is normal to make mistakes to begin with. You really do learn from them. The goal is, of course, to gain experience if you're doing it by yourself. If you're working with someone like me, obviously it's a different story because we show you the frameworks on how you can do things that are proven from over 500 500 product launches. I don't know why I started this video saying mistakes, man. I'm gonna keep this in the video anyway, but like, it's top things that you need to know. But like, number 5 is that Amazon is a numbers game. Don't expect to quit your job straight away after 1 or 2 products. Sure, one product could actually make you 10, 20, 30 grand a month in profit, for sure. But if we're just talking averages, right, you're probably gonna need to source 3 to 5 products, which it doesn't actually take that long. When you start stacking multiple products, you start to see the difference. For example, when you're doing private label, right, let's say if your first product starts making you 5K sales per month, okay? And your profit margin will be approximately 20 to 30%. Off the top of my head, that's like 1 to 1.5 grand a month, right? In profits, which is amazing. And that might be halfway to quitting your job for some people. That may be almost enough to quit their job. But like, as soon as you've got enough to quit your job, that's not when you quit, right? Let me just explain a little bit. So let's say if you had that one product doing 1.5 grand a month in profit, you then find another one which does 1.5 grand a month in profit. That's 3 grand a month. If you're getting paid in your job 2.5 grand a month, you're not gonna quit your job, because that is the dumbest thing ever. That means you're going to be taking almost all of your Amazon profits every single time. You need a lot of money to reinvest after, okay? So you're only going to quit your job when you're making double your monthly wage, so you can still continue to reinvest into the business and grow it. And it does take a short amount of time to do that, to build that up. The beauty of it is that when it's there and when it's fully set up after several months, it is reasonably hands-off. Number 6, and this is a mistake, you need to know your numbers, because a lot of people, a lot of sellers don't know the freaking numbers. You need to accurately calculate every single Amazon fee that there is, okay? You've got the referral fee, you've got the FBA fee, you've got storage fees, you've got disposal fees, you've got all sorts of fees. I actually made a full video on fees, so make sure you click it wherever it is or around here, okay? I'll link it to this video. It's a very, very good video. It's all the Amazon fees in pretty good detail. It's not rockets to do, guys. You just get your sell price, you minus off your buy price, minus off every single Amazon fee, and what's left afterwards is yours, okay? So typically as well, if you're spending £2 per product, right? Every time it sells, you want to be making £2 in profit afterwards. You got the £2 buy price, you're making £2 profit, so therefore you're getting £4 back every time it sells. It's a good rule of thumb to be going with. And number 6, biggest thing that you need to know is that it requires consistency. Don't get 1 product or 2 products and get comfortable and fall off the bandwagon. Always have a consistent flow in the pipeline. There are so many stories of myself and students where we've took the foot off the pedal because things are going well, but things don't always go well, okay? So you need to always have a backlog of products which you are looking at. Even if you think you're not going to source them or manufacture them there right now, because you can't do everything at once, right? If you just line it up for the future, it's going to be there and it's going to pay you dividends at some point, because there will be low months. There's always going to be low months, and you need to always keep that in the back of your mind. A couple of bonus things right here, right now as well. So guess number is you can use finance and capital to help you grow and scale, okay? Do not get afraid by it. Like, capital and taking finance and loans and stuff like this can be imperative for growth, okay? Obviously nothing's guaranteed, but if you do have solid things in place which you're super confident on, perhaps even if you're like working with me or something like that, you know everything inside out, the whole framework and stuff, and like you think there's a good opportunity and you just don't have the funds for it or the space, don't be afraid, okay, of finance and stuff like that. Explore the options. Don't just dive into it. Speak to somebody, a professional, or speak to people like myself, okay? People which have been there and done it, because I've taken tens of thousands of pounds in finance and loans and stuff before, and yeah, it's all paid off and it's worked out quite well. Another one is don't rush into hiring, but don't leave it too long. So anybody which is doing like digital work, you can hire people in the Philippines for a reasonably cheap price. However, don't rush into doing that. A huge mistake which I see people doing is like sourcing takes a long time, right? For everybody. But I still do all of the sourcing in my business still to this day. Every single bit of sourcing I still do myself. Why is that? Because one, it's the hardest task to do. It takes the most amount of time because it is the hardest thing to do, okay? But who is the best at it? Me. I'm the best at it. Nobody's better than me at sourcing. So why would I source it? Why would I find a VA to do it for me when it's going to be impossible for them to match how good I am at it, okay? Now, of course, you want to outsource things as a business owner. You want to take time off your hands, but like sourcing doesn't take up that much time for me that I have no time to do anything else, right? It takes 5 to 10 hours a week. It's not much, okay? And plus sometimes there'll be weeks where I don't even source. Like the past few weeks, I've done no sourcing at all because I don't need to. I've even got my pipeline. I've got a long list of backlog of things to source and go ahead and launch even now. Like, you know, hire people, but hire them to do the easiest things first. And I think AI is doing a lot of that at the moment. So again, hiring and using AI, try and use that soon, but not too soon. But anyway, I think that brings this video to an end. I've been selling on Amazon, like I said, for 6.5 years, coming up to 7 at some point soon. So there's a lot of wisdom there. If you have any questions, do let me know. And if you want to work directly with a 7-figure Amazon seller, someone who's doing over 300K per month, make sure you click the link down below in the description, book in a free call with myself. We can discuss if you're a right fit for us to work together. But without further ado, thank you very much. See you in the next video. Like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you later.